Hello again, everybody. It is now my honor to introduce our keynote speaker of the evening, Tyler Lagasse. Tyler is a phenomenal golfer who has competed at several national tournaments, both Special Olympics and non. He was featured on the Golf Channel at, I'm so sorry. Don't let my little show fool. I'm very nervous. Okay. He was featured on the Golf Channel a couple of years ago, and this past summer he got a hole-in-one at the Tewksbury Country Club. He's also an alpine skier and has run track and field and played basketball in the past. He was inducted into the Special Olympics Massachusetts Hall of Fame and will represent Mass Special Olympics at 2014 National Games in Princeton, New Jersey this June. He's a college student earning an associate's degree. Tyler? There he is.
Take some time for me to... can you hear me? Yeah. How's everybody feeling tonight? Great. I'm glad to hear it. Anyway, I would like to begin by telling you a little story, a simple little question that I would hear when I was a young child. Back then, I could never understand why I was being asked this question. As a young child, my grandfather and I would spend a lot of time together, and we would play cribbage and have ice cream. Each time we played cribbage, he would laugh and say, "What am I going to do with you?" He then went on to say, "I'll sell you to the ragman for 2.5 cents a pound." Whenever I thought about that question, two things came to mind. First of all, there is no ragman that I know of. And secondly, I'm certainly worth more than 2.5 cents a pound. Besides that, I think it's kind of a far-fetched idea when you think about it. That brief story is an example of how statements and conversations can confuse me. I happen to be a man living with autism. Having said that, one of my biggest challenges when I have conversations is the fact that I take everything you say literally, or as you might say it, at face value. When you say face value, I immediately get an image in my brain of hundreds of faces. Anyway, I came here tonight to speak to you all about autism. I hope all of you leave here with a clearer understanding of this challenge, and more specifically, how I deal with it every day. Tonight, I'm speaking to you on behalf of the Massachusetts chapter of Autism Speaks. As you may or may not have noticed, this logo for Autism Speaks is a piece, the kind you would use to solve a puzzle. But that puzzle piece is more than just a logo. It symbolizes a particular group of extraordinary people with virtuose but sensitive minds, unparalleled gifts and talents, as well as strange idiosyncrasies and complex problems. This logo goes to show that autism is real. What I'm living with is real. And all the statistics and facts about autism, such as the odds of a child being born with autism, is the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a part of this truth because I cannot deny that I possess those traits, and I cannot deny the fact that I have autism. What does it mean to live with autism? What is it like to live with it and have to deal with it on a regular basis? Autism does not discriminate. It is something that affects families and lives. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Autism doesn't care whether you are rich or poor or in between, black or white or whatever. In my case, living with it was and still is difficult enough without having to deal with schoolwork, training for Special Olympics events, and especially making speeches like the one I'm giving to you right now. All my life, I've taken paths far different from those who never had to live with such a disorder as autism. My parents and my brother had to deal with my autism, and they went through so much pain in the process of adjusting to an individual with such mysterious issues. But through it all, they found the strength and courage to bond with that individual. Now they look at autism with joy, and I am living proof of the joy I brought to my family. My autism is filled with a countless sum of strengths and weaknesses. I have this intense tendency to pick up noises and sounds, and I have this photographic memory which consequently stores all of my mental pictures inside my brain. Sometimes the data and input I receive fills up so fast that I get overwhelmed, and sometimes all this data and input is replayed over and over again, and there is no button or switch to turn it off. This feeling is the worst feeling I can possibly feel, and as a result I plunge into this autistic-like state. But in reality, I'm a man. I have choices. I am capable of overcoming many obstacles, big or small. After all, it's not my fault that I am this way. I didn't choose to have autism, and my family did not choose to raise a child with autism. I didn't ask to live with it, but I live with it anyway and live with it every day. I would give everything not to live with it, but I don't have that choice because it's here to stay. I am made the way I am, and there's not a thing I can do about it. I am living with something that may resemble a curse, but consider it a blessing. That's what the power of character and the human spirit are all about. And of course, that is what living with autism is all about. Even the human spirit alone was not enough to help me and my parents deal with all my challenges associated with autism. My parents had to look for the right school for me when I was still a young child. They needed to establish an identity for me, a structure to keep me in line, a place where I can grow and develop. And thankfully, with a little luck, they found a place I would call my second home for the next 7 years. I didn't want to go to this school, but I was not mature enough to choose the schools I wanted to go to in retrospect. And I lacked the free will to make this decision. But in the end, my parents made the right choice, and it proved to be the best choice they've ever made. As I got older and could no longer take part in any sports leagues, youth sports leagues that is, in my hometown of Tingsboro, Massachusetts, my parents found kids in disability sports, and I joined their basketball team. Through them, I got to compete in tournaments for Special Olympics and won a gold medal in the state games. Little did I know that Special Olympics would prove to be the best thing to ever happen to me. Not only did I compete and medal in basketball, golf, track and field, and alpine skiing, I got to travel all across America to play the sports I love and meet many fascinating people, from Tommy Heinsohn to Nancy Kerrigan to Tiger Woods. And not many people get to do those things. All these accomplishments and heroics on the playing field, as well as all those speeches I made, allowed me to be inducted into the Special Olympics Massachusetts Hall of Fame. I owe my gratitude to Special Olympics for changing my life. I owe them because they gave me a chance to show what I am truly made of, behind the podium as well as on the golf course. They let me reveal that I was more than a person living with a disability. I was something special. They were not interested in my intellectual disability. They wanted to see my courage. They wanted to see my heart. They wanted to see my strength. And they wanted to see my resilience. They provided a light of hope and opened the door to many possibilities and altered the course of my life. It's not only been good for me, but for my family as well. Special Olympics are a godsend to me as well as for millions around the world living with handicaps that not long ago were frowned upon. Thanks to Special Olympics, my life has a purpose. How have I overcome my challenges? Some people have one simple rule for it, but for me, there are so many ways to overcome challenges. There comes a time in life where you must accept the hand that you've been dealt when there is no other option to be found. At one point in my life, I'm not sure when exactly, I came to the realization that I was not like many people and that living with autism is nothing to be ashamed of. So I put my focus and energy on the things I love to do and try to forget the fact that I have autism. Other ways to overcome my challenges include trusting my strengths, staying true to who I am, and keeping my faith, and knowing why I'm here. Finding sources of motivation and inspiration are other ways to keep me working hard at school, as well as events for Special Olympics. I also try to remember that I am not alone, and that there are many people out there like me with similar struggles. I've been able to use these skills to help me reach new heights. For example, this May, I will graduate from Middlesex Community College with an associate's degree and have already been accepted to UMass Lowell, where I hope to graduate with a bachelor's degree. My major is environmental health with a concentration in sustainability. In fact, I've been accepted to the honors program. So far, my grade point average is 3.8. And that really proves that hard work and commitment pay off. To finish up my story to you, let me say this. We may never know the root cause for autism, but what we do know is that it is a growing problem, and that we shouldn't treat it as if it were a problem. People with autism are capable of learning. It's just that their brains work differently than other people. People with autism can be just the same as people like you. They are still people, but you have to handle them in a way that is different from that of a person without a disability. I don't know about you, but I can tell you that a human life is a precious thing. And to dismiss him or her based on his or her disability would be seen as an insult. It would hurt their feelings, or worse. We lived through injustices and persecutions in the past on the basis of race, color, ethnicity, and religion, and we still are in the present. Today we are facing a serious injustice towards people with autism. To call us broken, flawed, inferior, and even autistic would not be fair. Just because I am living with autism doesn't mean that I am autistic, as many people would say. I am just a man who happens to live with this disorder. Like I have said before, I didn't choose to have autism. I didn't ask for this. I am made the way I am. There's nothing I can do about it. I am Lagasse, and I am a voice for autism.